Hi guys, Janine here. I'm a homeschool mom of 8, and I am live with Nadeem. He is a CEO of operations at CTC Math. He's been married to his wife for 7 years now. He has 3 children, right? Okay, great. He has a degree in math and economics and is very passionate about homeschooling. And he's here to help us bring that curiosity and enthusiasm back to math for our kids so that they don't find math stressful, but they find math simple. So tonight we shared 5 different success tips. And if you have any questions about those, make sure you put them in the comments. I'm going to go through them really, really quick. The first one was solid foundations. And that just means that we don't want to skip over anything. We want to make sure our kids know the basics. And if they're struggling in something more advanced, that probably means they need to go back and review. Tip number 2 was master concepts. So we need to kind of forget about grades and remember that there's levels in math. And so we want to master those different concepts because they build on top of one of each other. Number 3 was one size does not fit all. We want to kind of match our children's styles to the curriculum. And Nadine's going to share how CTC Math really helps you do that. Tip number 4 was confidence. Confidence is really key. Anything we can do to help our kids feel more comfortable and more confident with math. And a really good thing is just short, quick lessons that will help our kids feel like they are really confident with the material that we teach in that little short time. And finally, the tip number 5 was motivation. So, if anything you can do to help get your kids motivated to do their math, as well as when they are excited about a concept, letting them go further with that concept and get ahead. All right, so those were our tips. And now we're gonna be talking to Nadeem about CTC and everything it has to offer. So first off, I wanted to kind of ask you, Nadeem, can you tell me a little bit about the history behind CTC and the creator?
Yeah, great question. Well, Pat Murray, he's the co-founder and voice behind the video tutorials, the short, concise, to the point, aha giving moments, video tutorials. And Pat has a wonderful history. He built this homeschool program because he's a homeschooler. It's a homeschool program built by homeschoolers, and his teaching career would span over 35 years now, and It started in the classrooms as a classroom teacher. And he has this incredible, wonderful ability to deliver these lessons that students just get. While teaching, he started these tutoring centers, and quickly they grew. He wanted to control the quality of those sessions while still being the teacher. So he had this idea of opening up more tutoring centers, but having his lessons on CD-ROM. So they'd go in and watch these lessons on CDs on computers. And then there would be some accompanying exercises. But, fast forward.
When there were CDs, yeah.
When there were CDs. This is how far this expands. Fast forward, and it turned digital, of course. It went online. And, it got very popular, originated from Australia. A great story. In the first couple of years, McDonald's, Macca's, Mickey D's, you guys call them Mickey D's, right?
Yeah.
Approached Pat.
I don't think I've heard Macca's before.
What was that? Sorry?
I don't think I've heard Macca's before, so I'll have to call it that.
Macca's is the Aussie slang.
I like it.
Approached Pat and said, look, we've got all these staff who are still at school and they're struggling. We want to provide additional support. So we're looking for a literacy program and a math program. And we hear you got a pretty good math program. So they paid a fee to have all their staff members have access. Wow. Well, about 6 months in, they got such glowing reviews from the staff members that McDonald's came knocking again. And they said, this is fantastic. We need to get it in front of every single student in Australia. What's it going to take? Now, mind you, they didn't do this for the literacy program, just the maths program.
Wow.
And essentially, it was sponsored and free for every single student in Australia for 3 years, with a deal with McDonald's.
Wow.
Now, since then, we've grown. We've got our curriculum in the US, we've got it in the UK, New Zealand, of course, South Africa, and we are looking to launch in India pretty soon. So that's very exciting.
I think there might be people on from Germany on right now.
Yeah. Well, so there's, I think we have people from about 100 plus countries. I think it's 150. It's certainly over 100 countries using our program. Now, they're just the curriculums that we have. So we have the Australian curriculum, the US, the South African, but there's a lot of people that will tap into the IB curriculum, say, that we have in the UK from around the world.
Great, perfect. So, could you tell us a little bit more about the short video tutorial? So I think we're going to show everybody the screen now. Let's jump into CTC real quick, and Nadine will give you a little tour.
Sure. So I'll just log in as a student. How about that? That's a good start. As you can see, the students have access to all lessons from all grades. They're not grade locked, so they can really work at their own pace. They select the grade level that they're at, and we're breaking it, the lessons and the concepts are broken up into streams and then topics, and then within the topic are the lessons.
Okay.
They'll click on a lesson, and as you can see straight away, this lesson is only 3 minutes long, 3 and a bit minutes long. And that's because we use a mastery approach. And Pat has really mastered how to explain these lessons in a short, concise way. Do you want me to play it or just sort of scroll through it?
Yeah, let's scroll through it a little bit.
Yeah. So it's a very much a multi-sensory approach where the students see and hear the concepts being taught. And I might just play a short segment so you can hear it. So what will take other teachers, 15, 20 minutes to explain, Pat can do this in 4 to 6 minutes. And that gives more time for them to practice the questions. What's brilliant about the questions is that they are adaptive in nature. So I'm just gonna show you something really cool. They deliver the right questions at the right time. And this really helps students build confidence, because you don't want to give them something too difficult and you don't want to give them something too easy. So as you can see, the more I get correct, the difficulty is increasing slightly. And once they've hit 4 stars, they've seen the most difficult questions. But
okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a new little feature too.
It is. The adaptive question is very new.
Wonderful. Well, we have, let's see. I would love to see, because a lot of people, they like the questions on the screen, but they also like to practice them on pencil and paper. Can you show where that they have access to be able to print those off?
Amen to that. Yeah, it's very important, and we encourage pen and paper math. So even when they're doing the questions online, we encourage some pen and paper in front of them, and that they're reviewing their answers. It's just and we certainly have worksheets, and as you can see, they're fantastic. You can print them, you can just bring them up on the screen, and they can answer them in the workbook. You can also create your own custom worksheet for one or as many lessons as you want. So I can jump in and show you that as well.
Yeah, let's do that.
Cool. That's in the parent section. So I'll just quickly sign out. I will say, but the only limitation ever with worksheets is that we can't use the clever algorithm because the questions are set in stone.
Mhm.
So with the interactive questions, remember that they are always adaptive in nature. So question bank wizard. Sorry. Okay.
So-
Well, it was right in front of me. So what we want to do is we want to first select the lessons that we want to do this for. So let's say fourth grade, and we want to focus on number patterns, ascending, descending, greater than, and place value. So you can select as many lessons as you want. And then
okay.
you go to presets. And then you can select as many questions as you want, whether you want it easy, hard, easy, evenly distributed, or harder. Let's just go evenly distributed. And then you hit generate questions, and here it is.
Wow.
And then at this point, you can save it and print it or set it as a task. But
Okay.
you can even go granular. You can change the question order. You can say, I really like this question. Let's add some more.
Oh,
We haven't done this. Let's remove that.
cool. I love it. That's great. That's very customizable. So that is a huge feature from that sets you guys apart from other online curriculum too, because a lot of curriculum is just like set in stone. So I really like this. That's great.
Correct.
Thank you.
I always say that CTC Math gives you the tools, and you just pick and choose the tools that are best suited for your family.
And so this is does this relate to the weekly revision sets?
So the weekly revision sets were what I just showed a moment or two ago.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just
So
making.
no, you're right. They're broken up into 2 semesters, and then there's 16 in each semester, and it just consolidates. It's really good for spiral revision. While the video tutorials are mastery, it's really important to have these for spiral revision. So students will never forget what the word ascending means because they'll be doing one once a week. Yeah.
Okay, great. Yes. So it kind of combines some of the stuff that you've already done into one, right?
Correct. So semester 1 will cover first grade math. Semester 2 will cover first grade math, as well as a little bit of second grade, the early stuff in second grade.
Perfect. Yay. Awesome. So can you show the different grade levels again and see what you have
Sure.
for the upper level grades?
Of course.
Just see. So we can go all the way up to high school, and you have even have calculus. Okay, wow, that's amazing. So
Correct.
everyone, yeah. So everyone,
Sorry.
if your child is really into algebra or they're really getting something, you can make them go ahead, and so they can grasp those higher level concepts, and then of course they can catch up on the other stuff too. So they have free access to all of the different content, which is amazing.
That's correct.
Okay, make sure you put your comments in the chat. I think I had one from someone. They said, "What is the daily time commitment that you recommend? How much do you recommend for the child to do each day?"
Great question. I think it's and you hit the nail on the head there. Each day, I think a little bit every Monday to Friday is better than huge chunks of math once, twice, or 3 days a week. So the way typically I would break it up is 30 minutes for the especially if this is your full math curriculum. Say you have some students in elementary, I would say 30 minutes where 3 or 4 lessons are completed a week. And then at the end of the week, maybe on the Friday or the start of the week, the Monday, they complete these weekly revision sets. Now, once you start getting into junior math and high school in particular, you probably want to extend that to 45 minutes, maybe an hour.
Okay, perfect. Wow, that's really doable. I feel like, yeah.
It is, and more often than not, you can complete a lesson with the video tutorial in 5 minutes and then complete the questions in another 10, 15 minutes. But what we really encourage is you do a second set because they draw from such a large bank of questions, and we do have that mastery that I was talking to you about. It just allows the students to see more difficult questions, and increasing that difficulty. So
Right.
for something like this, we'd have over 300 questions, but they only see 10 at a time.
Okay, great. Yeah, so you have lots of different variations they can do. Mariska said, "Is it possible to change the background and font color for kids who struggle with black and white contrast?"
Sure.
Really? I did not know that. Wow, there you go. So you
So
can do it.
yeah, if you want something like this, or we have various themes.
Wow, that's great. Okay, perfect. Yeah, I know that can also help too if your child is they're complaining about their eyes hurting. You can
Correct.
change it and it will help with that.
Yeah.
Oh, Lisa said, "Is CTC still independent from government core standards? Some people are kind of afraid of the Common Core because of the way that they teach, and just it seems like a lower standard." And so she was wondering about that.
Yeah, great question. We teach math the traditional way, and all our lessons, our curriculum does not follow was not built to follow Common Core. So it's we have something in our FAQs, but it's very much traditional. What was that?
It's how it should be taught. It's not
Cor-
confusing. Yeah.
Correct. Very much so. And I mean, yeah, you can see when you when you log in and do the lessons that it'll remind you of your days in school.
Perfect. And someone said, "Thank you. That's excellent." I think they were talking about the colors, and somebody said, "That's cool." Yeah, it's really cool. Another question is, how often do you recommend incorporating a skills review into this curriculum?
Great question. Yeah,
You kind of covered
great. Yeah, no. Well, I definitely recommend the weekly revisions once a week. But outside of the weekly revisions, we've got a diagnostic test for each and every topic. So if you click on a topic, you'll see these diagnostic tests: short, standard, and comprehensive. They only differ by the number of questions, and you can use this as a pre-test or a post-test. And I would have these pop up in your, particularly if this is your full math curriculum, maybe once a month or once every 2-3 weeks. So say you're in fourth grade and you're up to space and geometry and you're working in planes and shapes, but you haven't done number and algebra for a while. You might want to set the division diagnostic test just to make sure that they're keeping up with those skills.
Right. Just kind of refreshing those.
Correct. And you can set these all as tasks ahead of time. So I'm in the student. This student has no task, but if I log back into the parents area, you can actually set these as tasks. You can go in, select the student. I'll select my daughter, Chloe, and then a diagnostic test. She's only in kindy. So say I wanted to do patterns, and then I just hit save task, and away you go.
Oh, awesome. And so then it will pop up in her student dashboard.
Correct.
Great. Perfect. All right, guys. Any other questions? There's videos explaining these lessons, and are there games? So yes, the lessons have a video. And then what about games?
Sure. Great question. And it's important that we find that balance. It's important that really we are an educational tool and we're not a babysitting tool. Now I can certainly, so that's my daughter, Chloe. She's got a prompt that she's got a task. Sorry, before I forget. And she can start that task. But what we do have at the bottom, you'll see speed skills, times tables, and swap pieces. And these help consolidate math facts. So if we're doing something like addition, you're basically trying to rattle off as many questions correctly as possible in the 60 seconds, and it keeps your score, and you can get a personal best, and you can beat it. And there's various levels, and it gets a lot more difficult, obviously.
Oh, wow.
And then we have the times tables, which is a bit more games based. You can select the times tables that you want, and it's a bit of a shoot 'em up game. So you can see 6 times 5 at the bottom, to 30, 40. And I'll just pause that.
My son, he really enjoyed that for a while. But yeah, it's true. We do want to be careful because A lot of times with games, it will make kids just, it'll hinder them being able to just sit down and learn something normally. They'll have to have a game, you know what I mean? And so maybe we can reward with a game. Oh, you can do the shoot 'em up, because I had that problem too, where my son just wanted to do shoot 'em up. And it was great that he was learning his multiplication tables, and he's very good at them. But I was like, okay, you have to do these things, and then you can play that game. And so that actually helps motivate him to do his lessons. So that's goes into our tip number 5, motivation, right?
And I think that balance that you just brought up is really, really important. I will sort of go into something else, and I'm not saying that CTC math is for every child, and that's actually why we offer a 12-month money back guarantee. It's if it's not for your family or not working for your family, we'll offer you a refund, no questions asked, within a year. So you got a whole year to email us. But some programs, and I don't want to be critical, but some programs where you're building your avatar, you're really playing games for half the time. You've got a house and you're putting furniture in it and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how educational that is. And really, the problem is that the illusion is given that they've just done 30 minutes of math or reading or so on and so forth. They actually played the PlayStation or computer games for 30 minutes, really.
Yeah, and they're learning the platform. They're not necessarily learning the material. They're learning they're learning how to navigate a platform. And so that's different than learning math, right?
Correct. And what's really important is even those lessons that are disguised as like that present as games, but are disguised as educational. Ask yourself, what did the child just learn? Watch them and see. Like with the math facts, it's very easy. They learn multiplication. They're practicing their multiplication. But others, see what they actually learn.
Right. Mm-hmm. Right. Someone said placement tests. So those diagnostic tests, are those placement tests?
Yeah, great question. Yeah, the diagnostic tests are used as placement tests. So we have a resource library. Again, sorry, I keep switching between the parent view and the student view, but I'll just log back in. We have a resource library where there's a whole range of how-to videos, and you can view those videos and that help you get going. So you just click the need help button up here, and there's one on placement tests.
Wonderful. Okay, perfect. Yes, balance is key. Very true. All righty. Well, is there anything else that you want to share with us, Nadine, or?
No, homeschoolers get a half price discount. The 12-month money back guarantee. I think I've provided you with a special link as well, Janine. If anyone registers, they'll get a bonus 6 months for free as well.
Yes, definitely. And I love what Nadine said about how it's not for every child, but it's also not for every child at their specific age. So sometimes kids won't be ready for it right away. They need more like off-screen help. And then when they get older, for the more complex concepts, they will need it. So for example, my daughter, she didn't really need it as much. She didn't enjoy it as much for the more simple tasks, but then when she got older, she needed it and she used it, and it really helped her, especially with geometry and algebra and stuff like that. So the more complex things, it really helped her. And my sons, they love it. So for the younger grades, they love it. So it's really up to your child. And so maybe you try it now, and if they don't enjoy it right now, you might think about trying it again later when they're a little older. And the price, we have a post in the Facebook group, and it has the special information, like the special you get for joining us at this event and how much it is and everything. So if you just click that link, it'll show you. I think it's really inexpensive for a year, and then they have a price for your whole family if you have multiple children, which is amazing because I have 8 kids, and paying for multiple kids to have a platform, it can be spendy, but they really have thought about big families. So
Yeah, and I think Pat gets it because he's got 10 children of his own. So the most expensive plan is the family plan, and it's $148.50. That's with the half price discount for all your children, whether you got 2 or 15. You know, it's for all your children, and you get a bonus 6 months. So that's for 18 months. So it's $150 for all your children for a year and a half. We also have a single student rate, which is under $100. And we got monthly options too, if you prefer.
Wonderful. Awesome. And someone asked if it's compatible on a tablet.
Yes, for sure. You just need an internet connection.
Yay. Wonderful. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.